everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trek Canon, examination of series. And what are we doing an examination of today? We are doing an examination of programmable matter. Now, programmable matter was first featured in Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 1's two-parter, right? And ever since then, I was really fascinated about its application and its implications in Star Trek canon. But then I got to thinking, as I always do, I wonder how we got here. I wonder what was the road from, not having this technology at all the way up to programmable matter. And I figured I would focus this video on that. So this is an examination of programmable matter. Thank you everyone for subscribing to the channel, man. Please feel free to subscribe if you haven't. Look, man, I'm at 900 plus subscribers right now, man. It's been a great journey, man. For everybody, welcome to class, man. It's like over 1,200 videos. Man, if y'all find stuff just interesting, fun, parodies of Star Trek, 60-second videos, man, examinations of midnight editions, man, cult classic reviews, general sci-fi reviews, inconsistent Trek, man, random thoughts, man, just all kind of crazy videos, man. You'll find them right here on this channel. So programmable matter, or Claytronics, like I was saying, was introduced in Season 3, Episode 1 of Star Trek Discovery. That Hope Is You, Part 1. Now, it's described as a substance made of minute nanomolecules capable of changing its physical properties like shape, density, moduli, conductivity, optical properties in a programmable fashion based on user input or autonomous sensing. In other words, it can process information, but we'll get into that further on in the video. Now, there are two types of programmable matter. You have normal programmable matter and you have programmable antimatter. And they both have very different uses and applications. But let's talk about some of the in-canon uses of programmable matter. It's used in intuitive controls and interfaces, science, construction, furniture, military and engineering, dynamic armor and security barriers, synthetic avatars and exoskeletons, and personal transporters. When linked to ship's AI, it can manipulate ship design. And some of the non-canon applications are large, flexible tentacles for ship offense as seen in the video games. Some of the limits would include high energy consumption. And with each one of these limitations, I'm going to get into a little bit. So for high energy consumption, basically, to E equals MC squared, basically, to make matter change from, its molecular structure and all these different properties, basically it requires a lot of energy. Luckily, the Federation is able to produce these levels of energy. It also has a programming requirement, meaning that if you have a slab of, programmable matter sitting there and you haven't programmed it to do something, then that's all it's going to do. It has size limitations. For instance, just like any replicator, the material produced can't be larger than, the object producing it. Also, like the replicator, it suffers from replicative fading, meaning that each time a programmable matter replicates something, it has a higher degree of having imperfections in it. It also can't radically change the physical properties of a material. So say, for instance, you programmed it to be steel, you can't program it to be steel with, say, gold properties. And it's also subject to disruption and hacking, meaning that if a person can hack a system, they can hack your programmable matter and take control of it. With the invention of antimatter as a production scale type of device in Star Trek canon, basically creating matter with negative energy properties. Now, on a side note, a lot of people believe that the Phoenix was the first vessel to break the light barrier. But that's kind of half right. The Phoenix was the first manned vehicle to break the light barrier. The actual vessel, the prototype, the unmanned vessel was called Little Nail. Yeah, Little Nail XL4 Alpha, I believe. Yeah, I think they showed it in Enterprise once. Now, in the 22nd century, we come to the next evolution of matter manipulation in Star Trek, and that is the protein resequencer. This device is shown heavily in Star Trek Enterprise. Now, the initial design of the protein resequencer was to supplement the ship's galley. So you had a cook on board, and a protein resequencer is something that the galley chef used to basically supplement or add to the dishes that they were making. Now, the protein resequencer is basically the nastiest of them. It takes basically protein slurry or waste and basically resequence it into usable proteins that people can eat. Ugh. Now, believe it or not, the next device created in canon was the transporter. Basically, we all know what the transporter does. It's basically the first step at true matter energy conversion, and it would be the logical next step. It was a very big step, actually, in Star Trek canon. from safety to exploration to transport, all types of things. Also in the 23rd century came the food synthesizer. This was the device that was heavily featured in Star Trek, the original series. Basically, it made more complex molecular structured food, right? And the programming of the food that you wanted was basically on cars. These little cars that you used to slide into the thing, right? And the food used to slide out. That was basically the next step or evolution in matter manipulation in Star Trek. Now, the next device would be the one we're all familiar with from Star Trek, the original generation replicator or the food replicator. Basically, this doesn't require cars, and the programming and everything is stored on the computer mainframe. Anything that you would want or that's programmed into the system already, it uses pure energy, not waste or anything like that, although it does also convert unwanted items into energy, right? It uses energy to convert it directly into something that you can eat, into basically inanimate matter. Now, don't get it twisted. The replicator isn't only for food. You notice I said any inanimate matter. So from anything like materials, woods, metals, wires, parts, all types of things that can be programmed and inanimate, you can actually program the replicator to produce. Again, there are size limitations. Now, the next logical step of evolution would definitely be the Genesis experiments from the micro scale all the way, that was conducted on asteroids and stuff like that, all the way up to the macro levels, which ended up producing a planet out of a nebula. Of course, intensive programming would go into something like this, but it was on a delivery system basically, and all of the information that of the planetoid or the system that you would want to create would be pre-programmed into this delivery system, and that delivery system would be delivered, where it would detonate or activate and convert the natural matter that's available and around into the programmed state that you had wanted it to be. But then I want to throw something in here, a little Hail Mary, okay, the Binars experiments from the next generation. See, here's the thing. The holodeck worked, the basic holodeck principle was this. It uses light and force fields to basically recreate objects on a holodeck, from force fields and light for things that you can touch and interact with, to just light for things that are in a distance. Now, once the binars came on, they not only increased that optical effect, but they added replicator technology to the holodeck. What do I mean by that? Because shielding and light will not get a person wet. We know for a fact that people has come off the holodeck wet, right? We know this. So the binars actually mix the holographic technology with the replicator technology to create a more engrossing and engaging experience. And this is the dark part of matter manipulation that a lot of people don't want to talk about, and that is the changeling experiments. See, because not only did Section 31 get the experimental notes from Bajor, right? But they conducted their own experiments, which we know was true from the series like Picard, all right? And in that process, they was able to not only be able to learn changeling abilities, but be able to manipulate matter on the same scale that they did. Think of even in early episodes like Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where they used changeling technology to make the key for Odo. And all of this culminates into what we find in Star Trek Discovery, programmable matter. Now, I've already mentioned some of the Star Trek in-canon applications, which are, various types of applications with shielding and various applications. I didn't mention that. Let's talk about the shielding applications, because programmable antimatter was designed basically to create a shield that was able to punch through the barrier. Was it successful? Well, you're going to have to watch Discovery. I'm so sorry. Now, the thing is, I was really excited about the potential Trek applications, and hopefully we'll get to see those potential applications in things like uniform and armament, meaning that they have uniforms made out of programmable matter that can change and shift, and armament that can, think of a blade of armor for each individual. Think of the weaponry that can be employed using programmable matter. I've already covered, the tentacle reaching and grabbing and crushing things and other ships like that. Ship modulation and adaptation, a potential, different class of vessel, like the chameleon class vessel, that's able to shift from a cruiser class to a long range vessel to a full scientific vessel to a rescue vessel to a battle cruiser to a battleship. All these types of things, for infiltration. If you're able to create avatars, right? They operate on their own, it's just like they do with the communication. You could create programmable matter avatars that instead of sending people, you could send them on away missions. You could send them to infiltrate them on dangerous missions, things of that nature. You could use programmable matter in battle as probes, all types of things. Probes that could go into different atmospheres and different spatial anomalies and adapt themselves to fit, those anomalies so that they could either last longer or be impervious to the anomaly. For entertainment, like I said, full on holodeck programmable matter interactions. And of course, medical applications. Look, there's so many things that you can do with programmable matter, potentially in Star Trek canon. So if you think about it, the Federation went from manipulating matter to creating antimatter, to being able to convert normal matter to different types of molecular structures, all the way up until creating matter that can be created exclusively from energy, all the way up to manipulating the matter using programs and software and things like that, and different hardware, for instance, with the mobile emitter, all the way up to creating, well, we don't have autonomous programmable matter yet, but programmable matter that learns and is intuitive to the user. Speaking of, discovery and everything like that, I found that they are not continuing on with the Kelvin timeline and the JJ verse and Abram verse and all of that, and are going to now reboot Star Trek. And I believe the next movie is going to focus on an entirely new crew, new situation, new circumstance. Is going to be totally not connected to anything that has to do with prior Star Trek, and I am looking forward to it, because what is the purpose of Star Trek? To boldly go. And if you boldly go, and I'm all here for it. Anyway, again, thank you, new subscribers. Thank you, old subscribers, man, for continuing to support the channel and everything like that, and promote the channel, man. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And as always, peace, recycle, and say to whales, you guys be cool.